Hello, my name is Connor. Kyō no doga de wa Hakushi Hasegawa no Mahōgakkō ni tsuite hanashitemasu. So, in case you're new to my channel, which is very possible because this is not like my usual content, hi, my name's Connor. I like to talk about Japanese music. In this video, I am going to be talking about a beautiful, wonderful album from 2024, which is called the Mahōgakkō by the artist Hakushi Hasegawa. My content usually involves reviewing Japanese music or just kind of general discussions of it, but in this one, I wanted to be a little bit more analytical and talk about something that I really enjoyed for a long amount of time. Before the video officially starts, I just want to give you a little bit of background info on this artist and this album, and let's just start there. I think the most important thing you need to know about Hakushi Hasegawa going into this video is that they are non-binary. On top of that too, until 2024, no one had ever really seen their face. Leading up to that moment, Hakushi had actually released 3 other major projects. In 2018, they had released their acclaimed hyperjazz EP titled Someko Hodo. Then in 2019, they released their debut album, which was titled Air Ni Ni. And then finally in 2020, they had released another EP, which was titled Bones of Dreams Attacked. Ever since their career began, Hakushi Hasegawa's music has been denoted by its ability to juggle multiple aspects of a variety of genres and disciplines. And so of course, this new album follows suit and just entirely throws its listeners off a cliff and says, good luck, here comes a torrent of sound, music, sonics, vocals, mixing, samples, you name it. The English translation for Mahōgakkō would be Magic School. However, its meaning and intention as the album's title are never actually touched upon on the album itself. And so of course, that leads us to lots of questions. I think for starters is, why is it called that? What is a school if it doesn't mean to teach us something about something? Whether that's something about the natural world or something innate that's been inside of us, waiting to be discovered and used. I think that's the message that this album is attempting to impart to the listener. And there are just a few more things I want to mention before we start here. First off, I think this video is easier to follow if you've already listened to the album. I think you should do that first. I think you should do it anyway, but I think it might help if you are not familiar with it at all. Another thing I should mention is that all of the lyrics are taken from the official English translation as provided by the record liner notes. These are the officially translated lyrics from the artist or the label themselves, so this is it. Though I will say there are 2 exceptions here. That being the spoken word sections on the 9th and the 11th songs on this album. And that is because they are kind of in need of interpretation and not just translation, more so for song 11 rather than song 9, because song 9 is a conversation between 2 characters. And I think because they are so easy to understand and are in English, I think that's why they aren't included in the liner notes. The lyrics on song 11 are really distorted and you really need to do some close listening, and they're in Japanese. So in that case, I have provided my own interpretation and my own translation of the lyrics. That is now everything. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and let's learn about Mahōgakkō by Hakushi Hasegawa. The first song of Mahōgakkō is titled Departed. As it begins, we're greeted with the sound of swirling, watery vocals and banging beats. Along with all of this kinetic energy are Hakushi's vocals. They scramble back and forth and overwhelm us with expositions, requests, and other questions too, with one of these lines acting as the chorus for this song. I want to say a lot. Now is the only time. Listen. Talk to me so much, so much. I want you to laugh for me so much, so much. I'll take away all that is in the way. I want to think you've departed. Talk to me so much, so much. I want you to be mad about my friends. The ship will never return to port. The letter hasn't come. The ship has left. This chorus paints a very morbid picture, but Hakushi deals with it as if it's any other day. Hakushi wants to be gone, to find out what the world is like without themselves in it. But even still, they wish to be remembered for something. This song is the first step in Hakushi's journey to the other side, not of death, but of life. The instrumental for this song also sounds more like a joyous celebration than a funeral procession. It's at this point that Hakushi is visibly, in this case audibly, very excited for what comes next and also wants to make the most of it. Later on, they mention the following. Talk to me so much, so much. I want you to laugh so much, so much. I want you to burn my coffin. Departed, departed. It's funny, strange. Don't worry about it. The song wraps itself up in a tiny manner with percussion that marches at you and leads you to the next stop. Gone. So I can really only summarize this song as an audible assault, and it is one of both ideas and sonics that, surprisingly, never makes another return on this album, at least in this way. Despite the song only being a little over 2 minutes long, Gone has one of the higher word counts on the album, and that's undoubtedly in part due to the rap feature on the song presented by Kid Fresno. On this song, Hakushi's opening verse is frantic and is honestly a little hard to get a firm grasp on. On this song, they are very obviously directionless and feel totally intimidated by the situation that they find themselves in. On this song, they sing the following: I am a hellhole. I am the tree on the back of the flyer. The light of this world is heaven's sweat. I have no courage across the peeling atmosphere. You in hell are in the cuticle. It makes me feel like I've lost, because now is the time to give it all I've got. Kid Fresno's verse is even wilder, but expected to a certain degree. While it may be full of braggadocio, he also realizes a certain level of disconnect, that he's not like everyone else. His verse almost asks the question, am I estranged from others because of what I have, or because of what I still haven't obtained? Now, admittedly, this song is a little hard on the ears, and I feel like it's even harder to actually understand the meaning of it. But what I think is definitely apparent is that both Hakushi and Kid Fresno feel disconnected from others and from life itself. It's almost like they've been left behind, and while I think it's easy to say that they are the ones who are gone, I think it's more apparent that they're the only ones left. And so then, as Hakushi plays us out on their keyboard, they utter the final words of this song. Don't make that face. Maybe it's because of the time you pushed me away. I hope you can remember me. Ah, gone. Ah, gone. I think the song is a vibe, I think it is an anthem, and I think it is a highlight in the track list. As enjoyable as the song is though, I will also admit that it's been one of the hardest to actually parse. Regardless, here's what you need to know about this song. For the most part, this song deals in dualities. This is shown in the references of Narcissus and Echo, Hashikone and Domodaru, and also a third, which I will expand on later. Just so we're all on the same page, let's have a cute little mythology lesson. So, as told in the Greek myth, Echo wanted to be loved by Narcissus, but when rejected, Echo then cursed Narcissus to become in love with himself, so much so that he was unable to do anything other than stare at his reflection in a pool of water. The second pair are the Shinto gods Kashikone and Domodaru. So in legend, these two entities are husband and wife, and also kind of siblings, but that's like regular god stuff, so it's okay, I guess? I think? So anyway, these two gods represent aspects of male and female physical traits, and I think are the more important pairing in this song. That's because, with Hakushi being gender nonconforming, the prevalence of gender in these two myths is actually used in a very thematic way. Much like we are observers reading about these two stories, Hakushi similarly acts as a removed observer of male and female gender identities. Okay, so this next part is kind of complicated, so I really hope I explain this well enough for you. The final pairing is that of the Greek symbol phi and the French and or Castilian word tete, which means head or mind. The phi symbol is used in many different mathematical formulas and algorithms that denote when a certain function is in use. With that said, I think this pairing is actually less of a contrast between option 1 and 2, and is instead mentioned as an example of the chicken and the egg theory. Here we question, is it our minds that concoct these formulas, or is it the formulas that give us a better understanding of what a mind is, aside from being a representation of how one makes sense of the world around them? Because of this, I think the meaning of a mouth flash is a spark of debate and of conversation. And I think this concept is really shown in some of the lyrics for this song. Here, Hakushi sings the following. Our saliva is always a rose, keeping the resolution a secret. Doubting the hardness of the spider, I eat the nest. Firework between my lips, exposing you. Say good morning. Don't be shy, and remember, look straight into the darkness of the root. What do you keep in the back of my throat? Tell me, you sly. Like a screen scorched and hardened. Like a feline roar. My flesh tightens. It's upsetting because it's like a mystery of life. The following is a quote by Hakushi taken from the Bandcamp listing of the Mouth Flash single. What I feel like I should do from now on is to disturb the music with my own body, and to expose the chaos although it is not coherent. I believe that this song is the very beginning of that process. The body is always subject to the forces of history and categorization, but always seems to be situated between individual narratives, songs, and dances at the same time. This song sounds like a celebration of the past and what came before. The song sounds like a Japanese festival march, but instead of relying on instruments of old, Hakushi instead fills the song with samples of yelling and screeching, and then accompanies it with synthesized booming claps and drums. As we will see throughout this album, Hakushi will make known their desire to combine opposing elements into one being. In the case of this song, we get a glimpse of Hakushi's idea of the present, that being a synthesis of old and new. Repeal is one of the shortest songs on this album and is also our first moment of serenity. The song features traditional Japanese instrumental work as well as additional piano and string arrangements. In a way, the song is pure bliss, and that feeling is furthered by the introduction of vocal snippets throughout the song. In particular, cherub-like voices fill the space and spiral around the listener. One of those voices being our introduction to someone that sounds like they're reaching out via maybe some kind of intercom. Almost as though they're in a faraway space trying to make contact with Hakushi wherever they may be. So, to me, The Blossom and the Thunder sort of seems like an alternative title for this album as a whole, as I find that it exhibits the two sonic extremes found on this album. As heard on the previous song, Hakushi once again explores the dichotomy between two opposing objects. Here, the blossom sort of represents a beautiful object of affection that is also at our feet, whereas the thunder, no less beautiful, exists only in the sky above us, forever out of reach. The use of contrasting motifs in music like this always bring me back to other songs, just like Modest Mouse's We're Lucky. On that song, lead singer Isaac Brock begins by singing the following. These are the stars and these are the seas. Well, these are the places that we're lucky just to be between. Similarly, in this song, Hakushi imagines themselves as the thunder and as the blossom, as well as the track themselves. I feel like that it's on this song that Hakushi really begins to become one with the music. As stated in an interview, one of Hakushi's main goals for this album was to incorporate their own voice as an instrument itself that could then be added throughout a track. I think this song further delves into that idea of synthesis, of an ideal being composed of both natural and manufactured elements. As the thunder cascades and explodes throughout the second half of this song, we the listeners face a torrent of booming bass and percussion as well as sampled vocals in time with the beat. As Hakushi plays us out, the thunder fades, no doubt preparing itself to build up and be unleashed once again. Okay, so when talking about KYōFUNOHOSHI, I can really only start this thing off by saying that this song is crazy. While harkening back to Hakushi's more usual style of flamboyant hyper jazz, this song also features marching band, horn, and drum elements, as well as vocal lines that have been contorted and manipulated to the point that they sound inhuman. Luckily for us though, we have the lyric sheet that allows us to actually decipher these sounds. And so with that said, this is what the bug-like vocals are attempting to impart. Our bodies are covered in scars, as when the glittering sun breaks through the bloody clouds, it turns into the largest scab we saw in our dreams. I think to me, this song really sounds like we're at the center of an ant colony. There are these squelching and skittering sounds that move around us and disrupt the song, and they also make up its body as well. The sound of it all is initially fairly off-putting, but I do think that by its end, it really becomes a friendly and welcoming sonic embrace. It's scary but doesn't mean any harm whatsoever. NENNEKOKOROMI is our first interlude on this album. This song features more squelching, gargling, bashes, bangs, and electricity. Foregoing lyrics completely, this song acts as a showcase of Hakushi's excellent production skills. By blending elements of pop, hip-hop, and EDM, we as listeners are treated to a cascading rhythm of sounds and textures that, at least for me, are arranged to a degree that I haven't experienced elsewhere. This song is very short, and while I do like it, it isn't really providing much in way of context for the themes of this album. However, the next song most certainly is. The song Forbidden Thing truly features some of my favorite production on this whole album, which even I will admit is a little surprising given that it's mainly comprised of a piano roll and arpeggio. Once again, Hakushi's voice carries this song and really elevates it to be more. No matter how many times I listen to this song, the aspect I'm continually impressed by is the audible metronome that plays throughout the second half of this song, and it begins on the following line sung by Hakushi. The best season for sleeping is here, so I can only hear the song through the dark, so. And it continues throughout the rest of the song, ending only seconds before the song itself does. Forbidden Thing sounds like a soft dream of a time or place that never really existed. Here they mention a surreal scene that I think acts as a representation for how Hakushi envisions critics of their music. The teeth are lined up outside, bite or being bitten, having fun disappearing. And later on they mention the following. Shouldn't smell the sweet smelling bite marks. Shouldn't even think of it. This song is Hakushi being tempted by looking at comments and criticisms of their music, but also having to restrain themselves from doing so. The exact reason for this is unknown, but I can only imagine it's because they don't want to be affected by what others have to say, whether they're positive or negative. With that said, I take the title of the song to mean that the forbidden thing is actually the words and comments of others about their music. Towards the end of the song, they say, "I always want to be the witch." And so of course this begs the question, why? Does this mean they've always wanted to be some kind of mystical outsider? Maybe someone who wants to withdraw themselves from society and to possibly exist as solely a mythological figure? Honestly, I think the opposite is true. I think this is how Hakushi feels, but doesn't want to be. Moreover, I think this line and song as a whole are what they aspire not to be. They want to be part of this world, but they're having trouble integrating. I think this song encapsulates Hakushi's doubts and fears. They realize this about themselves, and now that they do, they know what needs to change. The song Mahōinter V2 is pretty much unlike any other song on this album. It's essentially a back and forth conversation that is very short, and also acts as an intro into the following song. The following is a transcript of the words from this song in a very nice, dramatic, and really cool fashion. How's your guitar feeling like? Same as usual. I see. Don't you want the sheet? No. I know it all. Wow. There are only about 3 difficult chords. Really? That's interesting. The curtains? Leave them closed. Okay, so let me listen to it. There's something I really love about voice texture, but I can't exactly pinpoint what that is. On this song, Hakushi's vocals are wistful, and they act as a centering device amidst the chaotic interjections and ad-lib vocals that buzz throughout the song. I think ultimately for me, my favorite aspect of this song is the emotional tenderness that lines its bombastic production. These larger-than-life drums clash directly with the simple guitar riff and meticulously programmed chords. I find that the end result evokes an image of something small and delicate, at the center of something large and chaotic. While both are distinct contrasts of each other, they're still one and the same, 2 sides of the same coin. I think in the simplest of terms, listening to this song always makes me recall moments from my life with my friends. Whether that's camping trips in national parks, late night hangouts, or listening to loud music and sometimes singing along. The lyrics for this song are fairly short, so I'm going to read them all below. Forgotten many times and happened so many times. Whoever comes next, remember, please don't forget the light, to turn off the light. Don't peek into aluminum containers and car windows. I know you loved silver things and jewels. Ah, I don't think you'll be able to land. You serve the king you ended up with. It's foolish. You misread when it's hot. Turn it on its head. Make a note when you misread. This is not a poem. It can only be a resolution. Amongst these lyrics, Hakushi includes interjections such as forte, 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 call that songwriter, and also taste me, taste me, taste me, taste me, taste me. I find the song to be like a stream of consciousness amongst a more explicit line of thinking. The lyrics to me appear to be Hakushi's advice being given to another person. For starters, the opening line, forgotten many times and happened so many times, whoever comes next, remember please don't forget the light, is sort of Hakushi's way of expressing that they don't want to be discarded. Hakushi is ruminating over being abandoned and begging whoever enters their life next not to do the same thing that has happened so many times. They plead, please don't forget the light, to turn off the light. almost as if they're asking that even if a person does leave, to make sure that they end things appropriately and in the right way. It seems that maybe closure is the one thing that Hakushi has never really been afforded. So what does that leave us with? Well, we have instrumentals that provide a sense of tenderness enveloped in a hard shell, elements of nostalgia, and also lyrics that delve into fears Hakushi has of interpersonal relations. As the song ends, the same interviewer voice enters once again and delivers the following line: "Call that songwriter, call that songwriter." This of course raises the question, if Hakushi isn't the songwriter, then what are they? If the world doesn't see them as that, after everything they've created, what should they be? Enbami is a primarily instrumental track and reintroduces the sonic palette of being fleshed through pipes and passageways of meticulously layered sound effects, vocals, and production. There is a spoken word section around the end of the song that don't appear as official lyrics that are provided with the vinyl. Please note that due to these lyrics not having an official translation, these are the only lyrics on the album that I have translated myself from their original Japanese. Up to this point, I, Hakushi Hasegawa, have been your companion. I would like to express my gratitude for everyone's well wishes and prayers. In a way, this song caps off the journey that we've been through and sets the stage for Hakushi's final performance of the album, that being the final song titled Outside. I was told many times my smile didn't reach my eyes. Yeah, I'm sure I was a creepy child. I couldn't lift the bottoms of my feet off the ground. I love the outdoors and want to go outside. The colors change outside and I love it. The distortion is just right, I think, when I see lips wrapped around the bottle's throat. Yeah, in my creepy closet were monsters without bass and DJs. I love the outdoors and want to go outside. The outdoors is so spacious and I love it. I love the outdoors and want to go outside. The colors change outside and I love it. I love the outdoors, I want to go outside. I love the outdoors, I want to go outside. The colors change outside, and I love it. The song Soto is truly something else. It encapsulates the desire and hopefulness of Hakushi, while simultaneously unveiling all of what they wish they had. On this song they sing, "I love the ever-changing colors of the world. I want to go outside," which I think is an absolutely beautiful and heartbreaking proclamation that forces us to ask the question why. What is it that Hakushi lacks, and what is it that they desire? What exactly is outside to them? They describe it clearly and plainly. They wish to be themselves as an active member of society, not someone who hides himself away from the world only to admire it from afar. The line, "In my creepy closet were monsters without bass and DJs," paints a very evocative picture. I think that from this one line, we get a ton of symbolism. For starters, I think the mention of a closet is in reference to their placement in the LGBT community. Moreover, it also works as a symbolic containing device for the inner thoughts that Hakushi has of themselves. Obviously, they view themselves as a DJ, given their profession, but the word monster is something not as clear. What's more, Hakushi intentionally uses the Japanese grammar to indicate that the word monsters is plural. Given that the term monster is typically used for a negative description of something, I think it's safe to assume that this view that they have of themselves is a result of multiple characteristics that they view as negative. This, of course, harkens back to their earlier claim of always wanting to be the witch on the song Forbidden Thing. With all that said, it's no doubt that Hakushi isn't happy with who they are as a person. Acknowledging their shortcomings, however, is certainly an important step. And so, of course, all of this is included in their reason for wanting to go outside. The music video for this song is as follows. Throughout the video, we see wipers gliding back and forth on the other side of a windshield. And as the video ends, so does the journey. And the car Hakushi finds himself in comes to a standstill. A precipice is about to be crossed, but we never see it, and we don't really need to. We, the listeners, know Hakushi's innermost desire, and we know that there's nothing left holding them back from reaching out for it. I would also like to take a moment to talk about the First Take rendition of this song. For those unaware, the First Take is an online Japanese music program that showcases popular Japanese artists. The rule is that each artist only gets one live take for the recording. This, however, has kind of been debunked to various degrees, but that is a whole other video. Hakushi's live performance for this song is what really made me fall in love with this album and is what really urged me to make this video. Here, Hakushi's sound is completely stripped back. They sing with their real voice, unable to hide completely behind vocal effects, layers, and pitch correction. In this environment, they have to be themselves. This of course has a downside as well. Because these manners of voice alteration are so important to Hakushi's sound, they have to come up with a workaround. The first take performance includes 9 other vocalists, each of whom is the lead singer of another band or group. Of particular note, Shuhei Kato is in attendance. Shuhei is the lead singer of the rock jazz pop group Not Wonk, and is in my opinion, one of the best singers alive. Like, oh my god, their album from this year is so amazing. Please go check that out. I have a video linked right here. Thank you so much. What I love most about this workaround and this choice by Hakushi is this. Hakushi is non-binary. They are not one thing or the other. Their voice, their sound, and their ideas are a culmination of everything without limits. By choosing this vast array of performers to accompany them, Hakushi in real time conveys a very personal message. Music is for everyone, and it is represented by everyone, and it is everyone. With this being one of Hakushi's first major live in-person performances, we see them finally reach their goal, not only of this song but of those inner desires. Hakushi Hasegawa wants to go outside. They're a ghost in the machine, an immaterial being that after close observation of the outside world, decides it wants to be a part of it. Mahōgakkō is the journey and discovery that comes with expanding one's horizons and the beauty and turmoil that often accompanies it. I think few people are lucky enough to discover the reason they exist. One could call that act of discovery magic, and I believe that in turn is the meaning of the title of this album. Mahōgakkō, Magic School, a chance to learn more about yourself and your place in the world. It's a period of time where you look everywhere but yourself to figure out what and who you are. Ultimately, I think Hakushi achieved it, whether throughout the process of working on this album or outside of it. What we do know is one thing though. Hakushi Hasegawa has made it outside. On this album, Hakushi explores topics of self-otherism, interpersonal relationships, imposter syndrome, and the fear of judgment. This of course isn't just limited to the verbal lyrics, but also the instrumentation and production too. Harsh beats and yelling layers perfectly against beautifully drawn out piano performances and soothing angelic vocals. I think the real power of this album is that it is so indicative of the artist who made it. I think subconsciously or not, Hakushi wanted to make a piece of art that so closely resembles their inner thoughts that the only way to actually articulate it was through some of the craziest music you've ever heard in your whole life. Hakushi Hasegawa found out what they were and what they want, and now they know exactly how to start working to actually achieve that. And if this album is any indication, they're on the right path.
Hello, nice to see you out here in the park. So I just wanted to come out here to kind of give my outro, and I guess first off, thank you for watching the whole video. I think that's why you're at this part in the video, because it's over. So thank you for watching. So far I've told you what I think is, and I have kind of neglected to tell you what I think and why I think it. What I think about this album is that Hakushi Hasegawa really wanted to express themselves in pretty much the only way they knew how. I think it's very obvious that they wanted to really show that they were not just a monster and a DJ. Hakushi wanted this album to be a crystal clear representation of who they are and who they want to actually be known as. And also, to be honest, that's sort of what I want too. So originally, yes, I started this channel to be able to talk about music I love, but also as a form of expression in and of itself. And also, to be honest, I found that I am pretty incapable of really doing anything musical in really any way, but I've always loved writing essays and listening to music, and this is somehow the perfect combination of that. What I think is that I'm able to internalize other people's art and then apply that in my own life in order to better understand myself and also what I want out of life too. Much like Hakushi, I also want to go outside, which is why I'm here. Isn't that nice symbolism? I really want to learn new things and have new experiences, and I think talking in an iPhone camera is probably the best way I know how to at the moment. Over the past year, I've learned a lot about who I am and who I want to become, and so I really think that it's because of albums and music like this here in this video that I've been talking about this whole time that I feel comfortable being able to say that. Yeah, I think that's officially my outro. I guess thank you, Hakushi, for such a cool album. This isn't really an album review, but if it was, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I would hope that'd be obvious. Given the fact that I just made a whole video on it. I think you should go outside if you can, figuratively and literally. It's really nice now, and hopefully it's nice where you are too. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.